moment an idea becomes an obsession, signifies the beginning of a champion's journey. An opportunity to take the throne, defend what's already yours, and deliver a massive spectacle.
An absolutely incredible scene
In front of the world.
Showtime!
Tonight, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it's no longer about how far you've come, but how high you will ascend.
This is what it's all about. The moments. The emotion.
Remember this. Every journey starts with a spark of an idea. And what we make of our obsessions becomes our destiny. This is WWE King and Queen of the Ring.
And now, live from the Jeddah Superdome in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, WWE presents King and Queen of the Ring.
You are looking live at the Jeddah Superdome in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We are sold out tonight with 3 championship matches. And we will also crown a king and queen of the ring.
Hey, this is WWE and ECW alumni, the Blue Meanie, and you're listening to PCW.
The question is, are you ready? Let me talk to you.
I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
What do you guys want to talk about?
And the color red in a world full of black and white. I am the eater of worlds.
Yeah, if you're some love. Acknowledge me. The champ is here. But to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I stand, right here.
Hey, yo.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of PCW Podcast Championship Wrestling. I am your host, Wayne, also known as Semi-Dry Chicken. And what we do here is we bring you the news. We bring you the reviews of these pay-per-views for WWE. And this time we went all the way to Jeddah, where it was hot as shit, I bet. And we're just going to give you the review of the pay-per-view, how we think it went, where it's going to go. And you know what? It's going to be a little different tonight. It's just going to be a 2-man booth. I think Doyle is still in France. I still think he is. He's in Lyon, France still. And it looks like we may have left Carlos in Jeddah. This is becoming a problem. But you know what? Who's here with me? Let me bring him in.
Yo, what it do, PCW crew?
Yeah, man. Two-man crew tonight. This is the first episode ever where we're doing just two guys. You know what, though? But WWE commentary has been two guys for many, many years. And you know what? If you have the right two guys, it works. Taz and Michael Cole, Jerry the King Lawler, and good old JR. You know, there's just, I'm sure there's tons of other two-man commentary groups that do well. But it looks like, yeah, we may have left, Doyle is still in France, and then we left Carlos in Jeddah. This is becoming a problem, because next pay-per-view is Clash at the Castle. And I don't know where that's being held exactly, but
And Clash is in Scotland
or
in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't that far for Doyle. Then, if he's still in France, he can just hop on a quick mud skipper up the way, meet us over there.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? This, as predictable as this pay-per-view was, it wasn't all that bad. I was kind of shocked by some of the decisions they made, and we'll talk about that then. I mean, this is right off of Backlash in France, which I think that was a pretty good pay-per-view. I mean, I really enjoy any. I still call them pay-per-views. Look at me, being the old guy that I am. PLEs. I enjoy these PLEs that are outside the country. It's so cool to see how WWE takes to crowds in like France and well, we know how they take in Jeddah, but France was a very interesting one, and Puerto Rico last year, and they've been to Australia before, So, and Clash of the Castle's coming up. I think they advertised that they're going to be coming back for Crown Jewel. I think it's in November.
Yeah. Crown Jewel is probably the next Saudi one, and I mean, they're probably somewhat used to getting these shows now. Like, they know they're getting 2 a year, and they're going to be 2 big shows every year. So they're not as bad as us over here in the States that just take this shit for granted. But it's not as special for them as, say, France or Australia, who get this once every couple of years, once in a blue moon. So, they're a lively crowd, but they're just, I would say, they're probably of the equivalent of like a really good U.S. crowd, like a good Chicago or a good New York crowd at this point for Saudis. Did I lose you there?
Embarrassing. I was muted. Oh my god. I'm not even gonna edit that out. I'm gonna leave that in there. That 5 seconds of silence.
Yeah, just that awkward silence to my whole spiel about the Saudi crowd. Now I look like an asshole.
Hey, like, man, he didn't give a shit about my opinion at all.
I just diss on the freaking Saudi crowd. Like, yeah, they're just a good American crowd, and then
fuck them. No, this is like their WrestleMania, and they're so lucky to get it twice in a year. And they're gonna be getting it one more time in November for Crown Jewel. But you know what? King of the Ring isn't something we get every year. I was telling Andrew when she was watching, she's like, "Well, who won last year?" And like the year before that, and I was like, it's hard to remember because we went over it last. I'm not going to go over them again, but we went through all of the past winners last episode, and it's just this gimmick match that has come and gone, and it seems like maybe this would be like the perfect place for it every year if you want to do it in Saudi. Like, I like the idea that they incorporated a title match for the winner because, I mean, come on. Shouldn't you deserve... You've gone that far, right? In a tournament, you think you deserve something better than a crown. Because...
Yeah, I mean, it needs to mean something.
Right?
It can't just be like... Because that's the problem that the King of the Ring had for so many years was that it was put on people and it didn't amount to anything. It's like, okay, you got this thing. Now it's just a little wrinkle you can add to your gimmick, but it ultimately didn't change who you were. Like, you didn't become champion. You didn't get pushed up the card. You weren't the next guy in line. None of that. You were just, hey, I'm the king. Okay, whoop-de-doo. You still suck. We still don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. And it didn't really do anything. Even when they added the Queen of the Ring, like, it made a nice thing for Zelina Vega, gave her an actual gimmick to her character for a while, but it didn't translate to any success for her or any type of elevation of her status. So at least with this, and given who wound up winning and the fact that they're getting title shots, and not just, title shots on like a random episode of Raw or a random episode of SmackDown, but title shots at SummerSlam. They're trying. It's a genuine effort to elevate the King of the Ring to being the next thing. Like, who knows? Obviously, it's just forward projecting, but years from now, King of the Ring could be like the, what an equivalent to the Royal Rumble, almost in a sense. Royal Rumble winner gets the WrestleMania match. King of the Ring winner gets the SummerSlam match. Especially now that, as we know, they're trying to turn SummerSlam into the WrestleMania of the summer, instead by making it a 2-date event. So,
I didn't even think about that. That's pretty genius. You can see the beginnings
of a plan in place.
Yeah. That's pretty smart, dude. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, having, definitely having the winner, fight somebody at SummerSlam, but like making that the Royal Rumble. Dude, you're onto something, dude. You're really onto something there, because I think that's exactly what they're doing, because they have the time to make this, add more prestige to the King of the Ring, making it important again. They have time before that SummerSlam 2-day deal goes into effect. I like it, man.
Whoever these champions are right now, they know what's waiting for them at SummerSlam, regardless of who the champion is now.
That's
Damian
crazy.
Priest knows who's waiting for him at SummerSlam. Bayley knows who's waiting for her, regardless of what happens between now and then, or if a title should change between now and then.
That's another thing.
That's that thing waiting for them, just like with the Royal Rumble.
Dude, yeah, like that's short, and we've seen that before between the Rumble and WrestleMania, where that title changes hands. So like that, by the end of the night in the Rumble, you're like, oh, we're totally gonna see so and so versus so and so. I'm like, not necessarily. I'm like, exactly. You still got another pay-per-view or two between.
Exactly. Perfect example of that is 2001. Stone Cold Steve Austin won the Royal Rumble. But at the Royal Rumble, Kurt Angle was champion. Next pay-per-view, No Way Out, Kurt Angle lost the title to The Rock, setting up Rock versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania that year.
Yep. Brilliant. Well, let's get into this pay-per-view, this PLE here. But before we get into our first match, dude, I want to say how this was a 4-hour, if you go on to Peacock, it's a 4-hour, 31-minute, and 5-second PLE. Now, I feel so bad for the people who couldn't fast forward. Because if you're looking specifically for matches, I will give you, like, the timestamp. So, like, if you're looking for the tag team match that they didn't, that was the kickoff show match, you're going to want to fast forward 1 hour and 23 minutes into the PLE. Because it's just kickoff show. And then, if you want to actually kick off the PLE, you're going to want to fast forward 1 hour and 50 minutes into it before you get to, like, the actual PLE, before the warning sign comes up and then the actual promo. Which, by the way, you just gave me 2 hours of fucking kickoff show and promos, and you have the balls to give me another video package of what I'm sitting here for? Yeah, dude, come on. I mean,
yeah, I get your frustration. I can say I was grateful that I saw the replay. I did not watch it live. So yeah, when I hit the replay button to watch it, and I see, like, okay, kickoff show. I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking, all right, they lumped the kickoff show into the PLE, yada yada. I'm thinking it's gonna be like, okay, an hour. So let me fast forward through the first hour.
Yeah.
I hit the hour mark and I play like, this motherfucker's still going?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is it? Like, wait, I knew that the women's tag title match was part of the kickoff show. So I'm like, did I miss it? I tried to rewind back a little bit. Like, no, it wasn't there. This shit kept going. So then I fast forward trying to find the women's tag title match.
Yep.
Because I'm thinking, okay, that's the end of the kickoff show. I figure like that'll be the last thing for the kickoff show. Then they'll jump into the PLE. And yeah, it was like damn near an hour and a half before I got to that shit. I'm like, the fuck was this on Saturday?
Yeah.
Like, was this the live show? Like, when they said it started at 1 p.m. or something Saturday, like, is this what started at 1 p.m.?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I didn't get to see it live, so I don't know, to be honest. And if that was the case, I would have been pissed, dude, because if I would have ran home, this is like during this PLE, it was a nice day. It's Memorial Day weekend. And then, by the way, this is the problem that WWE has scheduling PLEs around holidays. That we're spending it with our family, so I'm not going to be there watching this shit live. I'm spending it with my family. So I'm going to have to come home and watch this. I got to avoid social media. I got to avoid, everything.
Yep.
But, this is the same feeling I get like when I go to the fucking movies and I get a half hour of theatrical trailers. Not even trailers, just ads. And then you have the balls for having Nicole Kidman tell me to buy a fucking ticket for AMC theaters when I'm sitting in AMC theaters. Right. It's like
showtime's at 7:00. You're rushing to get to the theater at 7:00 just to sit through 20-30 minutes of fucking ads and trailers before the actual movie starts.
Yeah, like, it's like, we're here, dude. You don't need to sell me on these matches. I'm here. We're already here. I'm already watching. The people who are buying the ticket are like, we're here. The only thing I can think of, the reasoning for this is what's going on. They want you to see the arena getting filled. I understand the kickoff table. It's very similar to what we do on this show. Just, we're doing it in a podcast form. But they go on and on and on, and they loop back to matches. I mean, they were talking about certain matches, and like, okay, they're done talking about them all. Now we're gonna start, right? No, now it's like we're gonna loop back and talk about them again, or we're gonna talk to this wrestler about this match. Like, no, like I'm tired of these. Now, the kickoff show used to be a half hour. It used to be a half hour back in the day. Back in my day, it used to be a half hour. We used to have like some Velocity or main event, some fucking match, right? And then the pay-per-view would kick off, and that was it. And then they started incorporating the kickoff show like what they have now, where it's the panel. That was like an hour, and then I was like, okay, that's pushing it. But now, you sons of bitches, now you're dragging it out to like 2 hours. Why?
Yeah, but this is... we know why they extended the kickoff show and all stuff. This is just more of WWE's quest to become sports adjacent.
I know.
Like every sport that you have has a pregame show, and it's usually about an hour.
Yep.
Whether it's the NBA or the NFL, they all got their pregame shows talking about this, that, and the third, and everything going on with it before each PLE. And before the big stuff, like the Super Bowls or your playoff games or championship games or this, that, and the third, they have longer shows. And obviously, King of the Ring, if they're trying to elevate this PLE to being, one of substance and not just your run-of-the-mill show, then they're going to give it a longer lead-in, a longer pre-show. That being said, they need to find a better way to fill in the time than just talking about the PLE. Like, if they wanted to do it, what they could do is they could take a page out of, say, like the NFL's book or something like that, and use the fact that it's a PLE. Use the fact that you have a larger than normal audience.
Yeah.
Than, say, for your typical Raw or SmackDown and this. And rather than just talking about just the PLE and just that, use that to talk about your entire product. Talk about the PLE. Talk about other things that are happening on Raw or SmackDown that aren't being featured on, the PLE tonight. Use it to talk about what's going on in NXT. Get more people's attention on that. Just like, like your NFL, pregame show. When they talk about week 7, they talk about the whole week. CBS isn't just talking about the games that they're broadcasting. if the Dallas and the Eagles are playing on Fox, they're still going to talk about it on CBS. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be like, well, we're not broadcasting that game, so we're not going to talk about it. No, they talk about the entire NFL. They talk about the entire league. So WWE can use your PLE pre-shows, talk about the entire WWE, talk about what's happening on the PLE itself, talk about Raw and other storylines, talk about SmackDown, talk about NXT, talk about all of it. It's another way to bring more attention to your product, get people who may not be following a particular thing like NXT or something to get their attention, to draw their attention to it and say like, hey, while we got your attention, hey, this thing popping off over here.
Oh, man. I agree, dude.
Talk about that.
Like, I would like to leave it on. I don't even turn it on. I used to turn it on and leave it on in the background, but I don't want to because it's just basically video packages of the same shit running all day. Like, you're right, dude. If there was, like, they were just like, hey, look, this is what's going on in NXT, or this is an upcoming superstar. Like, check this out from last week on NXT. Check this out last week on Raw. On wrestlers who aren't on the pay-per-view. Like, put eyes on other superstars. Like, WWE has, like, one of the largest fucking rosters, I think, than any other wrestling company. You know what I mean? Like, you have so many people signed to your roster, but we never see them. And, like, there's plenty of people on there. Like, I can't name off the back of my hand because of this reason. There are people who signed with the company who are on the main roster that we never see wrestle. There's an NXT wrestler called Odyssey Jones. I don't know if he rings a bell for you.
I know the name.
Yes, he was several years ago. He came up from NXT, was drafted to the main roster, had I think one match maybe, never seen again. Still with the company, by the way. I think recently he got drafted back down to NXT, but still with the company. Like, it's crazy.
Just like every once in a blue moon, we get reminded that Apollo Crews is still with WWE.
And Cedric Alexander. Like, yeah, it's like these guys don't have injuries. And another thing is like, okay, you can't put like more matches during the kickoff show. Like, I understand like these are the main focus title matches. Then put these non-title matches, the smaller non-title matches, put them on the kickoff show. You think that people sitting in the arena don't want to sit there and stare at nothing for 2 hours? Because obviously there's people filling in as soon as the kickoff panel starts. And I'm just like, damn, like, 2 hours. Like, I understand, like, us getting to our seats, getting food, because this is like us at WrestleMania, getting to our seats, getting food. It was like, maybe 45 minutes? Maybe, at the most? But I ain't need no 2 fucking hours to get ready.
But see, that's what I was going to say. Like, I don't know if you necessarily need to fill in the pre-show with matches, per se. I mean, it would be nice for those
segments,
wrestlers, to get checks or something. But the pre-show itself, I'm talking about for the viewing audience. If I'm sitting there watching the PLE at home, I don't need to see a bunch of pre-show matches that I'm not hard pressed for that.
No, you're right.
At least, you can make the coverage or make the pre-show more interesting and more worth watching, like I said, by highlighting more than just the PLE itself, more than just talking about the same, especially if you're in this mood now where that Triple H is in, where he wants to reduce the number of matches on PLEs in order to give those matches more time to cook.
Yeah.
Well, if we only going to get, 5, 6, maybe 7 at the most matches on a PLE, you're going to have a hard time filling out 2 hours or an hour and a half of content talking about just 7 matches.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't that easy. So you need to come up with more stuff to fill in the show, to fill out that time. And yeah, maybe a pre-show match, that's one way, but also talking about more than just talking about the rest of your product, the rest of what's going on.
I agree.
Bringing in guest voices. Y'all partnered up with UFC now. If y'all want to do if TKO wants to, do some cross promo, talk about, hey, this is also happening over here in UFC. As long as UFC is going to be like, hey, this is also what's going on over in WWE, or you bring a UFC guy in and get their thoughts or do something. But you need to come up with more ways to fill in the time. Definitely, for sure. I don't necessarily know that more matches on it are necessarily required, because we weren't worried about that at WrestleMania. I doubt people are really worried about that at other PLE shows either, because they're probably, again, filing in, getting their seats, getting their food in long-ass lines, tailgating or whatever, this, that, and the third, waiting just for the actual show itself. You don't necessarily need more matches, but you do need something for the home audience that's watching.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's get into this. It's your call if you want to start off with the tag match or you want to start off with the very first match. I'll let you lead.
We can start off with the tag match, but let's take a quick break before we do that.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to dip out of here.
And now for today's top story. The Boyardee of War, Mankind of the WWF, has invaded New York. Please be on the lookout. His intentions are unknown.
Have a nice day.
He never goes anywhere without his Chef Boyardee overstuffed beef ravioli, and his call is unmistakable.
Beefy.
The zesty hearty goodness of Chef Boyardee definitely feeds the need.
It's the perfect ravioli for all mankind.
Alrighty, and we are back. We are ready to kick off this PLE and dig in here. We're going to talk about the kickoff show match. I'm going to give the reins over to Dre.
Yep, so kickoff match was the Women's Tag Team Championship match featuring tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill defending against a team of Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So this match, obviously, being a kickoff match, not really much you can expect in the way of surprises or anything of that nature, but it was nevertheless still a good match. They had decent back and forth action. Candice and Indy did good by focusing on Bianca's injury and her leg, targeting that for most of the match. Jade did her part by coming in and getting the quote unquote heroes comeback role and doing that. And she's still obviously still learning, but you can see that she's getting better and she's getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
Every time she's in the ring. You're not seeing her looking lost or looking, like she's confused at any point. She's being brought along. I think, as I said last time we saw her in a major match, she's being brought along gradually, and they're not putting too much on her at one time. And this match, she's in there working with, three veterans or three experienced people, and Indy, Candice, and obviously with Bianca, guiding her along the way. And it was a good match. It's the best thing I can say about it. It was a good match. I didn't see any major mistakes or botches. I was a little surprised that they won with just that move that we saw from the previous match together, where Jade Cargill holds their opponent up, Bianca hits the DDT, and then kicks her off with her legs into a fall away slam, which, again, nice ass combo. I was surprised that that's all it took to beat him. We didn't get any KOD or any Jaded in this match, which I don't know if that speaks good for Candice and Indy, the fact that they weren't necessarily worthy of their finishers.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's a pre-PLE kickoff match. So, it served its purpose. It was good. It was entertaining. The crowd was into it. They loved it. Jade, again, continues to show progress every time she's in the ring. She's getting better and better. So it served its purpose. It did what it was supposed to do. What were your thoughts on it?
No, you're right, man. Totally served its purpose. A good kickoff show. Just for the record, I mean, being in Jeddah, to have a kickoff show, even just to have more women on the roster in general, is a big deal. So, them getting in the kickoff show, 4 women being able to put on a match, because a couple years ago, that wasn't possible. The first match, women's, was Natalya and Lacey Evans. And, so, this was good for them, I think. What, you're right, dude, what better people to work with than, some, not, older veterans, but veterans in the company. Candice and Indy are good wrestlers to put them in there. They got to make them look strong, and you figure if they're building these two up to be a strong tag team, they have to start basically knocking out all the teams. They have to start just, smashing and crashing all the other tag teams out there. And this is where it begins. This is the start of a long reign, a long, good reign. So they have to crush teams like Candice and Indy. I know people were like, really? This is the first tag match we're getting? Like, yeah, this is where it starts. They're going to start from the bottom, and they're going to work their way up until we get to a point where we see an actual threat. Like, right now, I don't see anybody on the roster right now as a tag team that I think is a threat. Not yet. But they're working. This was a pretty clean match. I didn't see any botches. I think Jade did pretty well. The crowd loved it when she got tagged in for the hot tag because, they haven't seen her over there in Jeddah. You will notice that the women will have very unique outfits, very different than what everybody's used to because they have to dress differently. Basically cover from head to toe. They're allowed to show their hands, but I mean, it's kind of crazy. But everybody's wearing a one-piece suit almost. Before, when they first did this, they would wear like extra large shirts, t-shirts, and wrestle in those. It looked hilarious. I'm glad we're past that. We're now into the onesies. They kind of decorate them their own way. Put a little something on them, like Jade and Bianca look like 2 sticks of gum in there. These pink outfits will look like a little bit of tinfoil stuck to them. But no, I mean, everybody's got a unique outfit of some kind. All the women do. They make it work. I'm just happy to see more women on this card in this where they're at, because like I said a couple years ago, that wasn't possible. So, but yeah, good match to kick off the show. It sucks that you have to wait an hour and 23 minutes for this, and then wait another hour and 50 minutes until it actually starts. So, and dude, the finisher, very weird. I think it's just them trying to find one that works for them. It is very odd. Like, Jade grabs like Candice by like the hips, and Candice wraps her legs around her, and Candice is facing down, and then Bianca looks like she's getting ready to give her like a DDT. Yeah, she gives her like a DDT, and then with the momentum of her coming back up, Bianca catapults her with her foot, and Jade kind of does like a German suplex. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was unique.
It's a dope move.
Yeah, I've never seen something done like that before. Yeah, I
was just like, it just kind of surprised me that was the move that won the match, because when they fought Asuka and Kairi Sane, we saw that same move, but it was just a move that was done in the match. They still had to beat them with their own individual finishers. So it just kind of surprised me that Indy and Candice LeRae, I guess, weren't worthy of their finishers, or weren't significant enough challengers to warrant them having to use their finishers. Like, all they needed was just this move, and that was it.
Yeah, to show that they can put them away quickly. I mean, do they really need to like be kicking out of people's finishers right now? Like, and plus,
well, I don't know, not kicking out of them, but I mean, we never even got to their finishers.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't even need their finishers to put away Candice and Indy. That's the thing.
Hey, that's them just being booked strong right now. Like, listen, like, we're just gonna put you away before you even think about those 2K games, man. When you're wrestling some of your friends, it's like, yo, I'm gonna put your ass away before you even get that signature move. Like, I won't even let you get a finisher. I'm gonna pin you before it happens. And we've done that. We've all done that. And I think that's what Jade and Bianca are. It's like, hey, listen, like, we're good. We're going to put you away. And I bet as the teams progress, we won't see that, because it's going to get harder and harder and harder. But yeah, this is just bottom of the barrel, man. Like, these are the kind of teams we're going to get.
But isn't that also kind of wild that champions are starting at the bottom? Isn't it usually the wrestlers that are at the bottom have to work their way up to challenge the champion?
It is, but I think
and I'm not saying that that's how they're booking it, but if that's how they're booking these women's champions, like, they're the ones defending against all the tag teams, starting from the bottom all the way up to the top. I'm going to say that's kind of weird booking. I think that's an odd way to try to build up your tag team division.
Yeah.
By having your champions basically run through all of them. Because if they run through all of them, then who's left to challenge them?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, man.
And who do you determine that is the top? How do you determine what team is the top? Like if that's the plan, that they start from the bottom and work their way up, then how do you figure out what that progression looks like? Like, who's the next team after Candice and Indy? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And is it Ivy Nile and what's the girl from
Isla Dawn?
No.
I see. That's Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree.
Maxine Dupree, yeah. If are they considered to be higher up than Candice and Indy? Personally, I wouldn't think so. So I mean, I don't know that it's an interesting idea if that's what they're going for, but I don't know that is the case. I think just right now, because it was a kickoff show, they didn't bother with putting, a major team against them, given that it was part of the pre-show and not the PLE itself.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes from here as far as, how they book their challengers, but I don't know. I don't know that this match did anything for the women's tag division itself. I don't know that this match was even meant to do anything for the women's tag division. Anything that makes or breaks it, I mean, you have your top champions at your big name stars at the top as champions.
Yeah.
What they need to do is focus on everyone else in the division and building them up to be credible contenders against the champs. That's what they failed to do when they had Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as the champions. And we were like, oh, okay, look, we got a strong team that could be dominant. Let's see how they do that. And they dropped the ball with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got Bianca and Jade, two of the biggest stars in your women's division, holding the tag titles. You got to build up the rest of your tag team division to be worthy of challenging them, not using them to build up your tag division by crushing everybody else.
Right.
So then the whole division just looks like trash.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So hopefully whoever challenges them next is a worthy opponent. So let's move on to the first match. Well, it's technically the first match.
Yep, so this match, it kicked off the PLE with what was it? It was the Women's World Title match, correct?
Yes, sir.
Becky Lynch defending against Liv Morgan. And apparently Liv and Becky were doing their tribute to Britney Spears with their outfits, as some people have observed, with Becky Lynch paying homage to Britney Spears and a VMA performance that she did. I don't know what year, maybe 2000, 2001 or so.
Yeah.
And Liv Morgan paying homage to one of Britney's music videos.
Yeah.
Was it Oops, I Did It Again video, perhaps?
I think so, yeah. Dude,
yeah.
What an awesome outfit Liv had.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were dope outfits on both ends, actually. Like, especially, and really, I mean, Liv's outfit was dope, but, it was just pretty much just a full body tight suit. I think I give a little bit more credit to Becky Lynch and her outfit, and the fact that she's kind of integrating a bit of a pantsuit into actual wrestling gear.
Yeah,
her
outfit
was also a bit of a
kinda
callback to what we saw from Trish Stratus used to do years ago when she had that phase where she had like the little cufflinks as wristbands and all that other stuff, and was kind of integrating that into her wrestling gear and making it like almost like business wrestling gear type thing.
Yeah, I remember
that was actually a dope look from her. But either way, it's nice that the women are finding different ways to be creative with the limitations that are put on their wrestling gear for Saudi Arabia. The fact that they do have to be fully covered, and yet they're still finding ways to be creative with it and come up with unique looks and stand out with their gear and make it still something special. So credit to them both of them for that. But getting into the match itself was another good match. It was a strong match to kick off the show. Again, back and forth action, nonstop throughout it, and the finish was, I don't know how much I liked the finish. What we saw was Dominic Mysterio come out to the ring, stand at ringside to, a raucous of boos from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point, while the referee is, I think he was down or distracted checking on Liv Morgan, Dominic throws a chair into the ring in Becky's direction, trying to signal for Becky Lynch to use the chair to help secure the win. And then he hops up on the apron to distract the referee. I don't know if he thought that Becky Lynch, the babyface, was going to use the chair on Liv Morgan. Why he thought that, I don't fucking know. But obviously, his plan failed, and Liv wound up DDTing Becky Lynch onto the chair.
Yeah.
And then throwing the chair to the outside, not fully all the way to the outside, but then hitting Oblivion to pin Becky Lynch and become our new women's world champion. The part of that just doesn't make any sense to me is, one, why would Nam throw something to a babyface thinking that a babyface is suddenly going to use a foreign object to cheat to win, when that just defies traditional wrestling logic? Two, why are you trying to distract the referee? And okay, if you jump up there to distract the referee, and then you clearly see that your plan to give Becky Lynch the advantage with the chair has backfired because she just caught the DDT with the chair, why are you staying up there on the apron and still distracting the referee? That should be, if you're trying to help Becky Lynch, what should have happened was, oh shit, I failed. All right, I'm out. Referee, turn around. She's cheating. And then let the referee see Liv Morgan cheat, and then she gets disqualified, and then she loses. If you were actually trying to help Becky Lynch, you would think that would be the case. So that just poses the question of, was he really trying to help Becky Lynch, or is he secretly in cahoots with Liv Morgan? I'm assuming we'll find out the answer to that at some point, but
yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed like a little bit of sloppy booking on the finish, which kind of takes away from an otherwise great match. But the finish, again, was a bit sloppy, in my opinion. What were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, dude, I enjoyed this match. It was a good opening match if you didn't see the kickoff match. So, again, more women on this card, which isn't something we got a lot of. Actually, if there was more women on this card than there was men, which, that's crazy, because I wouldn't have thought that a couple years ago. I mean, Bianca, Jade, Candice, Indy, Liv, Becky, Nia, Lyra, Valkyrie. That's 8. Then we got Sammy, Chad, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's one more woman. Cool. I like the outfits. I dig Liv Morgan's outfit. Probably my favorite one of the evening. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't catch the Britney Spears second outfit for Becky, believe it or not. I didn't catch that.
You didn't realize that was
I didn't realize that.
Homage?
Yeah. And then, because I was like, why does Becky look like she's, like, about to lead an orchestra? Like, I was just like, really? Like, are you going through Seth Rollins' clothing? Like, what? That's your outfit? Okay. But yeah, I was surprised she was able to make it work wrestling, because sometimes I always think that. Like, a lot of these women forget about that. Like, yeah, the outfit's cool and shit, but you still gotta fucking wrestle in this outfit. It's weird, because we were talking about how there wasn't any Judgment Day on the card at all. So the fact that this is a big deal, because they flew Dom all the way out here for this. I was so confused. I was so confused the way this is going. Like, is this was Dom trying to help Becky? Because I think I was even more confused, like, following Monday. Like, they had a cage match. Liv and Becky, they had a cage match. And Dom interfered again, and Liv walked out. And it, again, confusing the way it went down. Because I'm watching it right now. Dom, slides the chair to Becky, and, basically, looks like he's trying to talk to Becky about something, but then distracts the ref. Yeah, and then Liv comes in and DDTs her on it and throws the steel chair, piss poorly throws the steel chair out. Doesn't even go all the way out. Dom has to grab the steel chair. And then, yeah, she does the Oblivion and 1, 2, 3. I mean, not clean. I kind of would have liked to have seen Liv beat Becky clean. I mean, we've seen Nia Jax beat Becky clean on a Raw recently. To me, a clean win means so much. We talk about, we're going to talk about later, Gunther and Randy Orton. You want to talk about a clean win? I enjoy clean wins because it means more to me as the champion. Especially when it's acquiring the title, when you're actually winning the title. Then Dom looks... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's an excellent point that you're bringing up about clean wins, because especially in the case of Liv Morgan, because they're doing the same thing to her now that they did to her last time when she won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Remember that? She cashed in on Ronda Rousey at Money in the Bank PLE, won the title, great moment, feel good, everybody's happy for Liv, loving it. Then she gets her first title defense against Ronda Rousey. I think it was at SummerSlam, but or maybe I've been with the pay-per-view before SummerSlam. But either way, she gets that title defense against Ronda Rousey, and then what happens? She wins, but it's in controversy because she had tapped out to Ronda Rousey armbar, so she didn't get a clean win. And throughout her whole title run, that wound up tainting her whole title run because she struggled to be seen as a legitimate champion because she wasn't winning on her own. She didn't have clean victories. She didn't have wins that established her as a legitimate champion. And that hurt her as a champion to be seen, again, with credibility. And what are they doing with her now? Oh, she beat Becky Lynch, but it was with a steel chair and outside interference. Okay, we're going to run it back in a steel cage. Okay, here's Dom again. Oh, he cracks Becky Lynch with the steel cage, and Liv Morgan takes the opportunity to slide out the cage. And you could say that it maybe works a little bit in her favor, given that she's supposed to be a heel at this point in time. But it's still, if they're not they're not clean wins, so they're still not helping her be established as a legitimate champion. So I mean, yeah, they're kind of doing the same thing all over again to her. At some point, Liv needs to beat somebody and beat them clean to show that she can actually win a match without somebody's help or without some sort of controversy, that she can just flat out beat somebody. Until then, yeah, she's going to have that same problem as before. So, I mean, we're still early in her title run now, so it's still TBD how this is going to go, but is she just going to be essentially a placeholder until Rhea Ripley comes back, or how's this going to go?
Yeah.
I mean, that's to be determined.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where this is going. I'm a little confused, but, she ends
especially
up...
given what we did not see on Raw to close out the show, depending on... I don't know if you saw it or not. I did not see it. I had to see it online afterwards, but after she won the cage match on Raw with Becky Lynch, which, just comparing the two matches real quick, the cage match was good.
Yeah.
But it was clear that they suffered from a lack of time. The match should have probably had been, at least 5 to 10 minutes longer to give them real time to actually cook in a cage match main event. You could tell they were really rushing towards the end. They kind of rushed towards that finish, as evidenced by the fact that it happened and then we immediately went off the air and did not see what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
And it had to be uploaded online, which was Liv Morgan planting a big fat kiss on Dominic Mysterio afterwards up in the ramp area.
Yeah.
Now, Dom didn't exactly embrace that kiss, and he didn't look like he was all that receptive to it. He just kind of had the oh shit look to his face. And he definitely responded, I think, on social media afterwards. He was just the Kermit the Frog meme that just said, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. So he got to deal with mommy, and not only that, he's got to probably deal with his real wife.
Well, I mean, the wife is part of the biz. I mean, granted, I am surprised that they did pull a move like that with him, given that he is married. But I'm assuming that he cleared that with his wife. He's like, "Hey, babe, I got to do this thing on Monday. I'm not embracing it because, oddly enough, the whole time that him and it's not oddly enough, but the whole time with him and Rhea being a thing, they've never once kissed.
Not once.
In respect to the fact that he was married and she had she was engaged.
And you know what? Nobody ever questioned it either. Nobody ever questioned. Nobody cared. They made it work. But exactly. this was definitely shocking, though. It was definitely like, oh shit. And I think what was more shocking is just the way Dom handles it. Like what no man would probably ever react if Liv did that. So I'm sure Dom. Good for you, Dom.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. Per storyline, that's
probably the most interesting aspect of that of this whole thing is where does that go?
Yeah.
And to that effect, if that's going to be the most interesting part of Liv Morgan's title run is her possible non-relationship with Dominic Mysterio. Again, what does that say for her as a champion?
No.
Again, just more questions to be asked. But again, we'll see how they play this out. We'll see how this goes. I'm still a fan of Liv Morgan. I'm still rooting for her. I want to see her, legitimized as a champion. I want to see her as a strong, credible champion, despite her diminutive size. But it's got to happen in the ring. It can't just happen just by being featured on TV and being in a prominent position on the air. It's got to happen in the ring.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm ready for the next match.
All right, so following the Women's World Championship match, we got I believe the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. So Sami Zayn, the champion, defending against Chad Gable and Bronson Reed. Which in this match was, obviously Sami Zayn came out to the hero's welcome of welcomes, given that, he is a Muslim in a Muslim country. He is essentially their hometown guy, even if he's not actually from Saudi Arabia. Every time he comes out here, he gets a massive pop that rivals the top stars in the company. And this was no different. So he comes out, he brings all the energy to the crowd. They give him all the energy. He's clearly over as over can be here in Saudi Arabia. So, basically home field advantage for him. So, the match itself was a good match.
Yeah.
It really was. Chad Gable doing inhuman feats of strength that we've always seen from him. Like when he did both Bronson Reed and Sami Zayn, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy spot. Probably the spot of the match itself. Then we saw another spot where what was it? Was it Chad? And it was Sami Zayn had an ankle lock on Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
And then Chad Gable went up and threw the ankle lock on Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So it was good in the match. They had a bunch of creative spots involving all three of them at the same time. Which was again showing that these guys were thinking about what they're doing in the match. They were thinking of ways to be creative and not just be a typical run-of-the-mill triple threat match where you see, basically one person lays on the outside for a couple of minutes while two people go at it. Then that person gets back in and somebody else goes and lays on the outside while the other two go at it, which, I mean, we did get that in the match too, but not as much as you would see in some other matches. So these guys really worked to let all three people have their moments in the match.
Yeah, dude.
But ultimately, Sami Zayn, of course, retained the title after Chad Gable tried to get Otis to lay out Sami Zayn. which failed because Sami Zayn dropped out the way and causing Otis to lay out Chad instead, leaving Sami Zayn open to hit a haluva kick on Bronson Reed and then get the pinfall. So, and I really thought this was going to play out different. Not the match itself, but the fallout from the match was going to play out different. But we'll talk about that after we get your thoughts on this match itself.
Yeah, this is another match I enjoyed, a triple threat match. I always enjoy triple threat matches. If you have the right combination of guys, you can make it a really good match. Bronson Reed being the big meat in this match, and the big heel that nobody wants to see win. The one heel nobody wants to see win on this. Then you got Sammy, the big face, the big baby face, super baby face, especially here. Like, the love for Sami Zayn, has not gone away. Like, it's just been on the back burner for a little bit. Ed Chad, he was getting over with the fans so well as a face, and then just as he was about to peak, he goes heel. And I've been loving heel Chad. I love what's happening with the demise of the Alpha Academy. It's not the whole Alpha Academy turning heel. He's trying, but they're not turning heel. It's one of these situations where he's going to leave them and most likely find his own, new kin, new boys. And I think they're going to be the Creed brothers. And I think, Maxine Dupree is going to get dropped too. And God damn, if I would love if Kurt Angle came back and was general manager, was a manager in that stable. But that's wishful thinking, right? Can't have everything. Can't have my cake and eat it too. But this match had a lot of great, just physical feats. I just saw Sami Zayn, because I'm watching this now. I just saw Sami Zayn do a fucking power bomb to Bronson Reed off the top rope. I thought that was cool as shit. Seeing a big guy like Bronson Reed do a backflip off the top rope, that's not something you see every day. That's a big man. You were talking about the double ankle lock. I enjoyed the reverse on reverse triple German suplex from Gable. I thought was great. Just a lot of, anytime you see Chad in the ring, especially as of late, he just does something that just blows your mind. I'm just dude, that was so cool. I love his German suplex, his rolling German suplex, because he does it slow. And I always think that's just a really cool way to do that move. Sometimes it's not always about speed. If you slow down a move just to show how badass it is, and you can make it work. I mean, Chad Gable did.
Not just that, just the fact that you're slowing it down, it's actually more difficult to do. That's your strength.
Hell that, yeah.
Because it's not like the other person jumping and they help you get the move over. You just have to carry their momentum through the move. Now, when you're doing that, you're basically just brute forcing a person like that. That's what makes that rolling German, I think he calls it Chaos Theory or something like that. But
yeah.
That's what makes that move so impressive, is the fact that really the only momentum he has is through the roll. After that, it's pretty much all strength. It's all him getting that person over like that.
Yeah, and
that's brute fucking strength.
Sammy has Chad in ankle lock, and Bronson Reed is bouncing off the ropes, and he's coming at him, and he gets him into a blue thunderbomb. I was like, holy shit! A sit down thunderbomb, that's impressive for a guy that size. And Sammy's not a big guy either. He's bigger than Chad is, but he's definitely the middleman in this match. Yeah. I'm glad he retained.
Admittedly, they're blurring the lines of credibility with some of that stuff too.
I know.
Sami Zayn is not a power guy.
I know. It's like Bronson
hitting a
Reed
blue thunder bomb on Bronson Reed. Seeing him struggle to do it, okay, that's believable. Seeing him actually pull it off is really?
Yeah.
Should he really be doing that?
Yeah, and seeing
Gable, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Bronson Reed has both of them on his shoulders, and he does a Samoa drop. I'm like, yeah, I believe that.
Right.
Yeah, that's very believable. Damn, I wanted to see Otis and Bronson man slapping man meat. You know, two big fucking dudes. It's like tanks of guys. Yeah, Otis not turning. That's another confusing part. I don't think Otis is gonna turn. I like Otis better as a face anyway. I think he's just gonna fall by the wayside along with the rest of Alpha Academy, unfortunately.
Agreed. I agree with you on that. And him not turning isn't my disappointment because I figured he wasn't going to turn here. If the fact that he actually wound up clobbering Chad Gable to take him out of the match is pretty much exactly what I expected. And I do agree with you that without Alpha Academy, he probably will fall by the wayside because yes, he's a big guy in the ring and yeah, he can go. But if we've seen anything in the last couple of months is among these big meaty men, there's a difference between the ones who can actually really go and perform and stand on their own in the ring versus the ones who maybe not so much. Like Bronson Reed can fucking go in the ring. Yeah. We see him do shit all the time. Tons of moves that defy his size. Even Ivar, ever since his tag partner Eric has gone down injured, we've seen Ivar absolutely shine as an individual in the ring. It's something that we probably would have never gotten had his partner not gotten injured. But he's shown that he's a big guy who can move in their ring like a cruiserweight. He can stand on his own as an individual. He really didn't need the Viking Raiders at all. He had more than enough on his own.
Yeah.
I don't know if Otis has that on his own.
Not now.
I don't know if Otis can stand on his own as that.
Not anymore.
It almost would seem like freaking Ivar should have been the solo person and Otis should have been the other Viking Raider with Eric.
The third Viking Raider that we haven't spoken about.
Like, it almost seems like that should have been the pairing that happened. Because
that's funny.
But yeah, I mean CBD. But my disappointment with the fallout from this match was on Monday, where well, for one, let me say just the whole thing of Chad Gable being like the abusive leader and all stuff. Excuse me. The whole thing from the jump has been real cringe to me.
Yeah.
Just real uncomfortable and awkward to watch. And I don't know if that's just a credit to how well they're performing in their roles, the fact that it's making me uncomfortable watching it, or the fact that it's just really bad storytelling. Like, I get the story that they're telling, I just don't like watching it. Seeing him talk down to them like that, it's like, this is cringe. This is making me uncomfortable. I don't like this. I can imagine it being potentially triggering to some people who have been in maybe such abusive relationships before. That could be, I could see it being triggered to them. And the fact that they're continuing to drag it out, I don't like. The fact that it's, okay, if it's going to be cringe and uncomfortable, I can put up with that. But get past it. Move on from it pretty quickly. But we don't need to linger on this. Like, this isn't the thing that needs to be a part of long form storytelling. Like, let's move this along and get to the next chapter. Like, we all know eventually either they're going to turn on Chad Gable or Chad Gable is going to dump them for newer people. Whichever route y'all going to go, just go that route and let's get to the next chapter. Because right now, nothing's happening of special. You're just rehashing the same cringe, the same awkward, the same uncomfortable shit every damn week. Let's move on with this. That being said, apparently the word coming out lately is that Chad Gable's contract is set to expire.
I heard that. Yeah.
And he apparently has not signed a new deal yet. So that could be maybe the reason why this shit isn't going any fucking where and why they're just spinning their tires on this and not developing anything and just kind of somewhat in a place of limbo. Like, hey, maybe if you sign this deal, we get this next chapter for you. But until we have you under contract, we're not moving forward with this storyline. So, yeah, that's kind of the unspoken part about this. The kind of the big question mark in this whole situation. So,
yeah,
and I don't see why Chad Gable wouldn't re-sign with WWE, because as great as he is, as good as a performer that he is, I don't know that his prospects outside the WWE are better than what he currently has going. Like, I don't see him going to AEW and being better off there than where he is now,
right?
Or on the indie scene or TNA or anywhere else. He may not be a champion right now, but he is in a featured storyline. He is in a featured role right now with a storyline that potentially has quite the upside to it, depending on how they go with it. You know, him potentially dropping Alpha Academy and picking up, you know, the Creed brothers and potentially maybe even Ivy Nile. That's TBD, because right now she's clearly a solid babyface.
Right.
Siding with Maxine Dupree somewhat, seemingly. So, but I'm all for, you know, him picking them up and that being the new faction that he decides to go with. I'm all for Team Gable. I don't need Kurt Angle coming back and being their manager. I think Chad Gable's good enough on his own. But Team Gable, I'm here for that. I'm absolutely here for that.
Hey, real quick, let's talk about how the crowd was able to incorporate "You Suck" in his fucking theme music somehow.
Yep.
In Alpha Academy. We found a way.
Yep, it's right there. It's there.
That's
just
great.
Fucking embrace it. Don't need to try to hide it. No need to try to run away from it. No need to try to, let me be something different. If that's where
natural,
meet the people where they're at.
Yep.
If the people are already there as you basically being this generation's Kurt Angle, just roll with it.
Yep.
Roll with it. You don't have to be a complete carbon copy of Kurt Angle. I'm not saying you got to come out here and start chugging milk and shit, or start saying, it's true, it's damn true, or take the Angle Slam as your finisher. You ain't got to do all that. But you can take some elements that worked and roll with it. And one element that worked that Kurt Angle did for a little while was Team Angle. You can do that and make that shit work. You can do that with the Creed brothers, and that can work, and that can be your ticket to the next level. Just roll with it.
I agree. All right, speaking of rolling with it, let's roll into this next match.
Yep. Next match after this was the Queen of the Ring final match. Yep. Seeing Lyra Valkyria versus Nia Jax. Anybody who thought that Lyra Valkyria was going to win this match was fooling themselves. Yes, Nia Jax won. Nia Jax is our new Queen of the Ring, as to the surprise of what should be nobody. But that was the finish. The match itself was good. I'm not saying it was a throwaway match or that the match was trash by any means, because it wasn't. But it was a pretty dominant win by Nia Jax. Lyra Valkyrie, she gave it her best. She tried everything she could, but she really just couldn't do anything against the overwhelming power of Nia Jax, who won the match with quite possibly the most devastating annihilator I've seen her do to anybody in a while.
Oh, jeez, dude. I thought the X sign was going to go up and she's going to be put on the injured roster.
Dude.
Holy shit.
I'm pretty sure that was a botch, but it was a damn good looking botch, because Jesus Christ, she crushed the shit out of her.
If Nia truly has gotten better since she's gotten back, like with not hurting people and making herself look definitely a lot more dominant, then I'm all for it. Like, if she does this finisher correctly, she doesn't have to hurt anybody. It's right. If she doesn't catch herself before she slams all that weight down. But yeah, dude, like this could have been a match I could have seen this finish on Raw. I mean, it's kind of disappointing. Like, this was the build-up. This is where we ended up getting at the end of the day for the women's Queen of the Ring. I didn't think at the beginning of this tournament, Nia was going to be the one. I guess. I mean, they've kept Nia pretty strong and protected as of late. Like, she's not in the main event scene, but she's still not getting, crushed. She's not getting smashed. She's not getting defeated all the time. She's not being made as a joke. She's just, whoever is being put in front of her, she's just running through them aggressively. I enjoyed Valkyrie's entrance. She had this cool, it reminded me a little bit of Hunger Games. Her hair and the wings. I don't know if that's what she was going for, but it looked cool as fuck. Like these big black wings. Some definitely cool cosplay looking outfit. And Nia was just in this black and purple outfit.
Standard issue for Nia. That's how she shows up all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So Saudi's like, ain't no big deal for her.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Nia Jax winning the Queen of the Ring.
Oh, yeah.
We've said
right?
She's definitely improved her game since making her comeback last year. Like she's a much better performer. She's safer.
Yeah.
None of the issues that people have brought up about her in the past, none of those have shown up this time. Yeah. I think this Annihilator was probably the first real noticeable botch that we've seen from her. It was just a product of her just not getting a good grip on the ropes that she was coming off. Could have just been, heat, sweat out there. They're in the fucking desert wrestling. The ropes might have been slippery. And fortunately, Lyra didn't appear to be injured. And it also kind of worked out in her favor because it made the move look absolutely devastating. So, it was a botch that worked in her favor, but make no question about it, it was a botch. But I don't think it was a botch of her intent. It wasn't intentional on her end. It was just, a mistake, and that happens in wrestling. Men do it all the time, and people don't say shit about it. So I'm not gonna jump on Nia Jax about it for this time. I said, in this instance, it worked in her favor, and I'm glad that she is our new Queen of the Ring. It's a reward for her for all the work that she has put in her time away and since coming back. And she has been basically the most dominant woman on the roster that's not champion,
right?
And you can see that, and you can see she genuinely appreciated it. Like she almost had like a babyface moment when she won, and Triple H came out there and gave her a hug. And you saw she was genuinely emotional about it, and I was happy for her. I'm like, I'm happy for her. I'm glad you got this. You deserve this. Like if she wasn't a heel, if she would have been in the States, I could almost see the crowd giving her a "You deserve it" chant for that.
Yeah.
Like she almost I think that's a moment that almost warranted it if it wasn't for the fact that she's incredibly a heel. And then, as a testament to how good she's improved herself, she immediately, as soon as the mic was back in her head, she snapped right back into heel mode and completely shook off all the emotions, got right back in the character, was like, "Yeah, I'm your queen. Shut up, Kayla. I deserve it." And then immediately pointed at, but she did that on SmackDown. But yeah, immediately was right back in heel mode when she got the mic in her hand. Yep. But again, testament to her improvement, her getting her massive improvement over her previous run, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, dude. Especially with Triple H there giving her the crown, and the crowns look so much better this year than they ever have. Yeah, I agree, dude. It's hard work paid off. I watched that squash. I watched it like 3 times. I was like, good God, how does she live? Like, you're right, dude. It played in her favor. Totally played in her favor, because when I saw that out loud, I even said, I was like, oh my God. But, that's cool. I mean, and, I was really happy to see Triple H in there, and she took the knee and got crowned, and, she can use this for the next year to elevate her heel status. I mean, however she wants to do it, if she wants to totally embrace being the queen, or, there's some people who win and never wear the crown. Like, Stone Cold never wore the crown, I think, when he won King of the Ring. Like, some people just don't. They don't have to. Mm-hmm. But I don't
know if she gets to embrace it for the next year. I think that's the one That's the one downside to the stipulation that they put on the King and Queen of the Ring.
You're right.
The fact that they have a title shot, because she's gonna have a title shot at SummerSlam. If she loses that title shot, then being Queen of the Ring don't mean shit no more.
Yep, you're right. I see. I forgot because we normally don't have that stipulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they're not out here calling, Cody Rhodes the Royal Rumble winner no more. Like he's the champion now. And had he lost to Roman, we wouldn't be out here talking about 2024 Royal Rumble winner Cody Rhodes. He'd be like, nah. Mm-hmm. She gets to talk shit up till SummerSlam. That's it. After that, the crown is irrelevant.
That is funny. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's up till SummerSlam, and then that's not going to mean much. But it's cool. Like now you got, some wrestlers like to take these things and put them on their wall and stuff. Now you got a crown.
Yeah, she's definitely got something to add to her trophy collection. Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely, dude. Yeah, that's all I got for that match, pretty much.
Yeah, so following this one, we got the King of the Ring final with Gunther facing Randy Orton. This was probably, I want to say it would be my match of the night had it not been for the damn finish. Everything up till that match of the night, these two were absolutely, one, we've never seen these two wrestle each other before, so, seeing two people of this caliber wrestle for the first time is always a big deal and always good to see. So, and they absolutely brought it to each other. Like they were going back and forth and hitting each other with everything, which is kind of a thing, for somebody like Gunther, as big of a deal as he is on the roster and as dominant as he's been on the roster, we tend to forget that there are still people that he has yet to face. And that's a pretty awesome thing.
Yeah.
That somebody of this magnitude still has first times to still take place in his career.
Yeah.
Things that can still be major matches without involving a title, just because it's him versus somebody for the first time. And seeing, how's this person going to deal with Gunther for the first time? Not how Gunther's going to deal with the person. Because, the question in this match wasn't how's Gunther going to deal with the Viper Randy Orton. It's like, no, how's Randy Orton going to fucking deal with Gunther?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
how's
yeah,
Randy
absolutely.
going to react the first time Gunther put them paws on his chest? How's Randy Orton going to react the first time Gunther hit him with a combo of, chest slap, power bomb, shit like that? How's he gonna do against somebody that he hits with everything he got? And the motherfucker just keeps coming back, because that's what Gunther does. Gunther be taking everything from people and then will come back right at you and slap the living fuck out your chest, power bomb you, and pin you. Like, how's Randy gonna deal with him? That's the question in this match. And Randy did as good as he could.
Yeah.
He did great. I mean, you could argue that this match could have gone either way, and were it not for Randy Orton being injured or having that supposedly knee or leg or whatever quote unquote injury he's dealing with, he might have done better against Gunther or probably even won. But ultimately, Gunther scored the win with a clever roll up, although Randy Orton's shoulder was very clearly off the mat. So I don't know if that was intentional to set up a rematch or an intentional so that Randy didn't look weak or just a flat out botch. I don't know. But it kind of took away from the finish, especially the fact that it was so blatant, so obvious, and everybody saw it. So much so that Triple H had to address it in the press conference after the PLE. It's like everybody was just like, so Triple H, we're just going to talk about that shoulder being off the mat, huh? What you got to say, man? He's like, yeah, we saw it, but the referee's decision is final.
Yeah, I was like, so really?
The referee who looked dead at this man's shoulder being off the fucking match and still counted to 3, that decision's final? Yeah. Which is clearly not, because they said I think he's pretty much said that there's going to be they're going to run it back at some point.
Yeah. Well,
which they kind of have to.
Yeah, they fucking better.
Obvious.
Yeah, dude, they fucking better run it back. I mean, the same thing with like AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes. Like, I hope eventually they run that back too. Like these matches where we're getting these guys who haven't touched hands before, you know, and we're getting these guys who are in their 40s. It's like, come on, like, really? These guys haven't crossed paths before? Okay, let's get it done. And I don't want it a one-off. I would like a little bit more. So if there's more meat to this to chew on, then let's do it. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't know if you had anything else to say about this match.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what though? Like I love the fact that we can still get first time matches like this with two guys who've been on the roster. Well, Orton since 2002, but Gunther's been on the roster for so long, and it's like, damn, how are you like able to avoid Orton for so long? And it's because like Orton just wasn't gunning for the Intercontinental title, and that's just simply what it was. And keeping Gunther grounded to the Intercontinental title kept him kind of, his wheelhouse kind of limited, like people who would come to him. Opponents had to come to him. He didn't have to go to the opponent because he was the champ. So that definitely limited to the people he could wrestle on the roster. But like now he's wrestling guys like Randy Orton, and now this guy's got a title shot. You know, right where we want him, right where we've always wanted him. We wanted him heading towards that title, you know, the heavyweight title. He one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of you could say now of all time, because he's one of the longest reigning, and you know, now he's King of the Ring. You know, he's the King General. I would,
yeah, that don't sound right to me. I don't know. I know they tried to say that on the PLE, like he's going from Ring General to King General. That's not how it works. You don't hold two titles like that.
Yeah.
You don't call somebody the Admiral Captain.
Yeah, Michael Cole said it after the pin, but yeah, it can't stick because, like you said, the King thing ends.
And the General. No, it's not how it works.
No, he can't be the King and also sell car insurance. Like,
right.
You know.
Now, maybe they want to call him the Ring King, but I can understand if they don't want to do that because Ring King used to be the name of an old boxing video game back in the day. I think it was maybe Namco Bandai. I don't know who it was, but it was an old Nintendo boxing game way back in the day. Look it up. I used to play it on Nintendo. Ring so King. If they don't want to call him Ring King, because maybe some nerd in the freaking production team was like, actually somebody owns the copyrights to those names, but still. Ring King is what they should actually be calling him instead of the Ring General. That would be the logical progression.
The Ring General. Yeah. Dude, the slaps. Orton, I don't know if you've taken slaps like that. It's been a while, but damn, dude. He was beat the shit, chest and back. Orton's body showed it. And that's the thing with Gunther matches. If you're going up against Gunther, expect there to be some fucking bruises. Expect there to be handprints all over you by the time that match is through, because that's how Gunther goes, man. Like Gunther leaves damage. He leaves damage, and that's another one of the reasons why people love watching Gunther fucking wrestle. It's just because, like, damn, like, and Orton's not a small guy. Orton, I think, and Gunther are about the same size, and you know, Gunther laying those fucking hands on him and. Jesus Christ. Dude, I was so digging this match. I was so digging it. And then, look, I flipped the page here. I have that, you know, he was working on the knee. Gunther was working on that knee, that whole match, an injured knee that Randy had taped up. You know, he's able to, you know, get out of an RKO, kick out of an RKO, and... you know, a roll-up, and the way the roll-up went was was it meant to be? Was it meant to look like that on purpose? I would think so, considering how veteran these guys are. Like, I don't think this was a mistake. I think this was on purpose, but, like, why? Like, is it to further the story? Because there's not a legit clean win? Like, Orton could be like, you know, you never really pinned me, so we don't really know who's the better wrestler here. I'm like, yeah, you're the King of the Ring winner, but, you know, I don't know. I could see this being revisited at some point. These guys are both on different rosters, so we got to remember that, because the King of the Ring had guys from Raw and SmackDown compete, and we got one from each. So this is a good way to, I think, kind of protect Orton in a way, like, you know, little shenanigans here at the end. So down the road, when maybe Gunther's like, I don't know, world champion, Orton's maybe looking for that 15-time world champion or 16-time, you know, maybe we run it back again. And it's a little different this time, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's room. There's definitely space to revisit this at a later date. I mean, outside of them apparently running it back, which I could see that being a thing, maybe at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see that possibly being a thing, that if depending on how much of a deal they make of this, or how much of a big deal Randy Orton makes of it.
Yeah,
I could see them maybe running it back at Clash, but for the time being, you know, he's the next man up, and he's poised to face either Drew or Damian Priest at SummerSlam. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now. My money's on whichever one he ends up facing at the end of SummerSlam. Gunther's gonna be our new world champion. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it now.
You know what? I'd put money on that. That sounds like a good fucking deal, man.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't see, if he ends up facing Damian Priest, I don't see Damian Priest defeating Gunther at all.
Yeah.
And if it's Drew, we've already seen Gunther defeat Drew, and I definitely don't see Drew defeating Gunther, even if it's which would be kind of weird, because as it stands right now, from what we saw on Raw, it's kind of a three-way between those three right now contending for the title, with Gunther already having a title shot guaranteed to him at SummerSlam. And he's a heel. Damian Priest, still leader of Judgment Day at this point in time, still a heel. And Drew McIntyre, maybe the closest one to being a bit of a tweener, because, you know, his social media shenanigans are kind of getting him over a little bit with the fans, but he's still very much acting like a troll and a heel on television.
Yeah.
And they're still hitting him with the CM Punk chants every chance they get. And anytime he takes a shot at CM Punk, he instantly gets booed. So he's also a heel.
Yeah.
So we're in a real unique position right now on Raw, where we've got three heels all vying for the world title right now. There's no babyface in sight other than maybe Jey Uso, who's pretty much been beaten by all three of these guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Match. So he's kind of he's the top babyface on Raw right now, but he's also very much on the outside looking in this title picture.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a different situation that we're in right now. One I don't think that we've ever really been in before.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm enjoying it though. I'm enjoying it. I'm all for it, bro. All for it. So. Yeah, I mean, like I said, great match all the way up till we get the fucking shenanigans at the end. And by the way, thus far, after this match, tables still standing. Could have been broken. Were tempted to be broken. But still standing. And we'll return back to that later.
Yep. So, before we hit the main event, Triple H had a moment with Caleb Braxton because he had an announcement to make.
Yeah.
That announcement was that Drew McIntyre has been medically cleared to return to the ring, and as such is going to be facing the World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest at Clash of the Castle. So, we already know one match for our next PLE in 3 weeks, Clash of the Castle.
Yep.
I will say this.
Yeah.
This is the first world title match we've had in a long time where it is truly and genuinely unknown who's going to win. Think about it. You could make an argument for either one of these two winning the match. There really is no predictability. There's nothing to be predicted here. For the longest time when Roman was champion, we knew he was going to win every match.
Right.
There wasn't nothing to be said.
Yep.
When the World Heavyweight title came into the picture and they put it on Seth Rollins, we knew pretty much that Seth was going to win pretty much all of them. They really weren't putting anybody in front of him anyway that was a legitimate challenger. I mean, like, nobody thought fucking Shinsuke Nakamura was going to defeat Seth Rollins for the title. The only questions we were really having was like, is Damian Priest going to cash in now? Finally? So, like, and the only times that it was ever really in doubt while Roman was champion, you know, people tried to argue, well, maybe Drew might beat him at Clash last year. No, the fuck he wasn't. Even though people tried to think that he would try to make an argument. Drew might do it. No, it's in his hometown. It is Clash. No, it ain't happening. No, sorry. It wasn't happening. You know, we had the argument for Cody last year. That's probably the last time where a title match genuinely had a unpredictable outcome. I mean, not outcome, but really had a genuine air of unpredictability going into it, where it really could have gone either way. You could have made a strong argument for Cody or Roman either way in that match last year. Obviously, Roman won, and we have found out since then that, you know, the working plan going into WrestleMania last year was actually for Cody to win. But Roman managed to convince them, I guess presumably at the last minute, that he should remain champion and that they should, you know, stretch this out another year. You know, hindsight being 2020, they were right. Roman was right, and it worked out. And so this year, you know, it seemed pretty obvious to us that Cody was going to win. It's almost the inverse of last year, where it was pretty obvious Cody was going to win it this year, had to win it this year, and people were trying to make the argument that, no, Roman, like we're saying, like, no, fuck out of here. Ain't no way in hell Roman does this shit 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And we all pretty much knew that Drew was going to defeat Seth at this year's WrestleMania. You know, I don't think there was maybe some minor arguments that Seth could retain, but it seemed pretty obvious that Drew was going to win. Now, we didn't see Damian Priest cashing in. That's where the surprise came in.
Right.
But this match here, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the world title, who's going to win? Neither one of them seems like the obvious choice.
I know, right? It's fucking crazy.
And I think that's refreshing. I actually like that. I like the fact that we have a world title match that we can all go into with no idea whatsoever who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make those near falls much more interesting. It's going to make that final act of this match much more interesting, because we all should genuinely be on the edge of our seat in terms of seeing who's going to actually win.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I really like it. Hopefully they build this up properly, because the match itself has a unique thing that we have not had in a long time, and that's genuine curiosity as to who's going to win.
Right.
But what are your thoughts?
No, dude, I totally agree. I don't... As much as I like... And I'm happy for Damian Priest as our world champion. I just don't think his run is going to be very long. I think that we're going to see it on Drew McIntyre real soon. And it's actually kind of hard to say, because it's like, then Gunther's like right around the corner, right? As much as I want to see the title back on Drew, Gunther's right around the corner nipping at his heels. But like, I feel like Drew's title run has been made kind of like, you know, the past, you know, like a joke basically. And it's like, how much longer are we going to start taking Drew as a joke? Like, when are we going to heel Drew? This is the best he's been ever, dude, as a heel. Like, when are we going to get him as a proper champion and a proper run? Like, as a heel champion, and I don't want it to be shortened by Gunther, but at the same time, like, I want Gunther to be champion, so it's kind of sucks. It's like catch 2020 sometimes. You want somebody to be a champion so bad, but then there's another guy you want to be champion, but this guy deserves it more at this moment, but and then we get rolling into this title match with Cody and Logan Paul. I didn't enjoy the last minute changes to this match. Not at all, dude. Like, I think we talked about this last episode. When we found out the last minute changes to the match, we kind of were like, we kind of know who's going to be the champion here.
Before we dive into that, wrapping up on the whole Drew Damian thing. You bring that up though, the fact of, people wanting to see Drew get a legitimate title run. I think that kind of adds. That's what helps. That's why this match is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because sure, if it wasn't for the fact that Gunther's, waiting in the background, that Gunther's right around the corner, you would probably say that Drew McIntyre is obviously going to win. Yeah. Because, like people were saying last year, it's a title match. It's in his hometown. It's in Glasgow, Scotland.
Yep.
Just like people tried to argue that he was going to defeat Roman Reigns last year, you could make an even stronger argument for him to defeat Damian Priest this year.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Gunther's waiting right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because do you put the title on Drew just to have him drop it to Gunther a month and a half later?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right. It seems like if the plan is for Gunther to probably become champion at SummerSlam, just keep it on Damian Priest and let Damian Priest drop it to him, so that way you don't, give Drew another short, shitty title reign.
Right. I mean, like, think about it. Like, Gunther's the one guy who, Drew couldn't beat him. Drew tried several times to beat Gunther. Mm-hmm. So think of the fear that he'll have knowing if he wins that title, and then, like, as he's celebrating, Gunther's music just hits, and he's just standing at the top of that ring, just looking down with his hands behind his back.
Just waiting for him.
Just waiting, like, yep.
Like, now you got to deal with me.
And I've beaten
your
you
title fight while you can.
Yep, and he knows. He's like, I've beaten you before. I've beaten you several times. You've never been able to beat me. So Gunther's going to be so confident going in. But, like, that's what I was saying, because, like, we don't know where this is going to go. I mean, That's why I was kind of comparing it a little bit to the Logan Paul Cody, because we kind of know where that one was going.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what doesn't make it exciting for me when I know what's going to happen. When I know that Roman Reigns when I found out that we're going to keep the title on him for 1 year. Okay, so that means every match he's in, every title match, he's going to walk out as champion still. I'm not interested no more. You spoiled it. You spoiled it, man. That's like, That's like if we were watching Infinity War and then, right at the end, they tell you, hey, Endgame comes out next year, but everybody who got snapped is coming back. Everybody who got snapped is coming back. And it's like, fucking spoilers, man. Like, I know. And then now I gotta go the whole year and watch all this shit in between Marvel films and act like these people are dead. Like, they're gone forever. They're never coming back. But then guess what? Spoilers. But yeah,
you're right about that. And that's what it was for the longest time with Roman. That's why for a lot of his run, the interest wasn't in the match itself. It was the Bloodline storyline. It's like, okay, we know Roman's going to win, but what's this next chapter in the Bloodline storyline? Like, is Sammy going to turn? Is Jimmy going to turn? Is Jay going to turn? Or is this going to happen? What's going to happen? Like, that's where the interest was for us for a good chunk of Roman's title run, was the Bloodline storyline, not the match itself, because, we knew Roman was going to fucking win.
Yep.
You're absolutely right about that. Now, should Drew McIntyre win at Clash at the Castle? I would say right now we are kind of going with the theory that Gunther's almost certainly going to win at SummerSlam. But if it's against Drew, I'm not going to say that it's 100% that Gunther wins.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably I think it's still a very strong chance that he wins at SummerSlam. But I would say it's maybe like, I would say like Gunther versus Damian Priest, I would say is like 90-10.
Yeah.
In terms of his odds of win, like 90%, 10%. 90% he wins, 10% he loses. If it's him versus Drew, I'd say that drops down to maybe 75-25 or 70-30.
Yeah.
Maybe 70% chance he wins, 30% chance he loses. I think Drew has a better chance, even though I still would think that Gunther is probably going to win. Just for the simple fact that, yeah, I don't think that they would want to give Drew another short run like that. And maybe as much of a buzzsaw that Gunther has been, essentially running through everything with little to no challenge, maybe they want to add a wrinkle to his character in the fact that he won the Intercontinental Championship virtually and with little to no difficulty. Dominated that as champion for 666 days. Ran through the King of the Ring with, minimal difficulty. Holds that. But then finally challenges for the world title, and it's the first time we see him challenge for something and fail.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that they try. I doubt it, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, I agree, man. Fucking time will tell. I'm excited the next couple of weeks, to be honest, to see where this is going to go. Between now and SummerSlam, it's going to be very interesting. So I would keep your eyes on Gunther. Good things to come for this man.
Yeah, that's the best part about this. I will say, like, the world title, the World Heavyweight Championship right now is in the most interesting position that it's been in a long time. Probably since its inception. This is probably the most interesting that it's been. But now we can move on to the main event, the Saudi Money match.
Yep.
For the undisputed WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes defending against Logan Paul. I kind of skimmed through the match before we hopped on to record. Kind of got a gist of it. Basically, the match, it didn't suck, but it wasn't special. Cody won, obvious to anybody with half a brain. No chance in hell Logan was going to win. Logan, typical fashion, doesn't look bad in the ring. He does his high flying spots. He looks good. He looks clean. And Cody won. I mean, I don't really know what much there is to say about it. It was kind of a paint by numbers match, honestly. They really didn't do anything like special, or I don't even know that this match really had like a big photo moment like what happened when Logan challenged Roman Reigns, where we had that or at least had that photo moment of Logan Paul like high up in the air and shit, with Roman down there getting ready to uppercut his fucking lights out. Like, at least that match, as predictable as it was, we got a cool photo out of it. I don't know if we even got that out of this match.
No.
I don't know if there was a moment in this match that they're going to, like, plaster on pictures all over the place to showcase. Like, this was just like I said, it was the Saudi money match.
Yeah.
Saudis were like, we want Logan Paul again. He had a great match last year. Okay, cool. Y'all can have him. We want him in a title match. All right, sure. Fuck it. He ain't winning, but okay. That's what y'all want. All right. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that it took 3 freaking Crossroads for him to win it. Like, Logan Paul doesn't strike me as the person who needs 3 Crossroads to be put down for a 3 count.
No. Well,
not with fucking AJ Styles just last month only needed 1.
Oh, dude, you're right.
Like, AJ Styles just lost with 1 Crossroads, but Logan Paul needed 3.
Mm-hmm.
That math don't math. Anyway, what'd you think of this shit show?
Oh man, you know what though? If you skim the match, you really didn't miss too much, man. It's like I said, we knew who was gonna win. The fact that they changed the stipulations made it so less interesting for me. Now that both titles aren't online, I'm not interested as much, man. Like, it's just another Logan Paul match, and I kind of know who's going to come out as the winner on this already. what was different about this pay-per-view that people, I don't know if you noticed, but there's no Prime logo in the middle. And we were told that we were getting Prime logos in the middle. Well, over in Saudi,
that shit don't apply over here.
Yeah, not over there. Apparently, where it's categorized in the caffeinated drink section, they just don't allow it, and they don't allow sponsorships and shit. Now, yeah, no. I know
we're the sponsors, damn it.
Yeah, and I know people were saying, "Oh, well, he still had an Energy Prime drink in his hands." Yes, but if you look at what kind of energy drink it was like a non-caffeinated, sugar-free drink, and it didn't fall under the category, and Saudi allowed it. And I was like, crazy world we live in. It's like, you can't have Coke on the show, but you can have diet caffeine-free Coke. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. It was really nice. If this is one of the pluses I get, I don't have to see the fucking Prime logo in the middle of the ring, so sure, that's twice a year I'll get that. Twice a year. Yeah, I guess with as much money as they're being paid, yeah, it's like, we don't need sponsors. Like, we pay you enough. You don't need sponsors. You don't need Snickers. You don't need American Shield. You don't need there's so many. There's so many. Subway, Slim Jim. There's just whatever. Can we go back to the day when we just had Stacker 2 and Slim Jim? Oh, now everything's a fucking gimmick match, or everything has to have logos all over the side. I have to see, this match was brought to you by Slim Jim, and it's all plastered all over the fucking place. But this is how it's going to be now. Now, then, forever, if not worse. Until we have two mascots just wrestling in the fucking ring. That's what's going to come down to.
Yep. Especially now that on the side of the ring and around the ring and all that stuff is now video screens as opposed to drapes that it used to be back in the day.
Yep.
They can slap a sponsorship anywhere they want.
Yep. Anywhere, anytime. You just be
right there on the screen in the middle of the match.
Yep.
If somebody's willing to pay the money for it, WWE will let them do it.
Yep. And they're like, hey, I want you to put this on the Titantron during the match for 30 seconds so nobody else can watch it. They're like, okay, here's $100. Or here's $100,000. Do it.
Yep. And they'll absolutely do it. Like, hey, our movie's coming out, such and such. We want to pay for y'all to put it on the side on the screens during this match. Okay, cool. And you'll be watching the match, and you'll be constantly reminded throughout that whole match. Such and such is coming out July 22nd in theaters.
Yep. Or this replay was brought to you by, or that and what's the other fucking annoying thing they do? Oh, when they give us ads and during the match, and it's like, yeah, dude, like I know it's being sponsored by whoever this is because it's plastered all over the fucking ring. You don't need to show me a Mountain Dew Code Black, a Pitch Black. We're watching a Pitch Black match right now.
Right.
Oh boy, that table. Let's talk about that table. Those tables did not want to break. Saudi makes something different about their tables. They're the most sturdiest I've ever seen them. But they finally broke when Logan Paul put Cody through it. But here's what I don't understand. Okay, the ending. So, Logan Paul puts Cody through the table that eventually broke on the outside of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Throws him, that man should have been out for a while for that spot. But then immediately picks him up, gets him back in for the 10 count. So it's less than 10 seconds. Throws him in there, goes and does a 5-star frog splash, right? Does a good 5-star frog splash too. Very good. But Cody Rhodes doesn't fucking sell it. He doesn't sell it, man. He gets right the fuck out. I can see why Logan Paul wanted to use the brass knuckles on his ass. Because then we had shenanigans with another set of brass knuckles, which, by the way, that's another dumb thing. I'm going to let Michael Cole hold on to my brass knuckles. Then I definitely don't have them. Like, really, dude? Really? It's like, take these cigarettes away, then I'll never smoke again. Yeah, you've had cigarettes on you the whole time. Well, yeah. Come on, man. Yeah, and 3 Crossroads put Logan Paul away. Is it because he's the United States champion? Yeah, is it because he's the United States champion? You know,
I think the Saudis paid for it.
Whatever.
We want to see a 3 Crossroad finish, not just one.
Yeah, we paid you for 3 Crossroads.
Yeah. They paid by the Crossroad. They want to make it seem like a bigger deal than what it was.
Yeah, they paid by the
SmackDown,
Crossroad.
it could have just been 1 Crossroad and done, but nope.
Oh God. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it was a roller coaster of PLE. I was all right with it. It's just there was certain finishes between this one and the guys King of the Ring. I just, just the finishes I wasn't happy with. But, it's a Saudi PLE. We'll forget about this.
Pretty much.
It's not canon. It's not canon. So, Dre, anything else you want to talk about with this PLE?
As far as this PLE, nah. I mean, it's a Saudi PLE. We know these things are essentially throwaways. The only thing that made this of any significance is the fact that they announced that the King and Queen of the Rings are getting title matches at SummerSlam. So that'll probably be a thing going forward. My hope is that if this is the case going forward, I hope that the King and Queen of the Ring PLE does not become a permanent Saudi PLE. I like the aspect of King and Queen of the Ring as a PLE being something of significance, of potentially being, a Royal Rumble-esque type PLE that has, that level of significance to it. It'll probably never match the level of prestige of the Royal Rumble just because, the Royal Rumble is the Royal fucking Rumble. It's a staple of the WWE. Even though King of the Ring itself is that as well. It's just, it's had too many down years to be on the same level of the Rumble. So I appreciate them trying to build it back up. I hope it does become something of significance again in the future. I just hope it doesn't become a permanent Saudi PLE because that means that it will essentially become meaningless outside of the King and Queen of the Ring itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's pretty much what all the Saudi PLEs are. They're essentially just throwaways.
Yep.
So I don't know how they find that balance of throwaway Saudi PLEs, but also have this one thing in it that actually matters. I don't know that you can balance that out, honestly. So that's the one thing I would say, just my final thoughts on this PLE going forward. I hope that it continues. I hope that it is something of significance. And I hope that this is the last time that it happens in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that we get the King of the Ring again and only in Saudi, because here's the thing, is like, we're so jam-packed already. I don't know where else to pencil King of the Ring in. Because it's just, we have so much, dude. So much. To the point where now we're getting SummerSlam 2 nights in a row. Which I'm not a fan of.
Why not?
They just keep extending it. They just keep extending everything. What's next? 2-hour Royal Rumble, 2-hour Survivor Series, and then, 3-hour SmackDown, 3-hour NXT. Like, how much wrestling can we take?
But they're not really extending everything. This is just one more night for this show.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like, where does it end? Because I did hear talks about them trying to make SmackDown 3 hours, and I was like, no, I'm not for that. But I guess out of the past week or so, out of the news, we did discuss it last episode, but the biggest one was I was not on board about PLEs going back to Sundays. Hell
right.
No.
Yeah, I'll say that I think we're all in agreement of being against. SmackDown going to 3 hours. I haven't heard anything about that. I'd be surprised if they did that. But I would, if I were to play devil's advocate a little bit, if SmackDown were to go to 3 hours on US, presumably this would happen after the move to USA.
Mm-hmm.
USA as a network probably has more space to fit a 3 hour SmackDown in. But this would also coincide with Raw going to Netflix, which means Raw itself would also change. And I doubt that Raw would remain a 3-hour show on Netflix because presumably there won't be commercials on Netflix. It'll be a more streamlined, straightforward show. It may be, who knows how long Raw will be on Netflix. If it's the same amount of content, then we were looking at like an hour and a half long show. But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure Netflix wants a longer show than just an hour and a half. Like I don't think they paid what they paid for Raw just to get an hour and a half of content each week plus whatever ancillary shit WWE decides to do.
Yeah, they want
I'm assuming it's going to be
at
least
everything.
2 hours.
Yeah.
So our total, amount of content still really isn't going to change. It's just going to shift more or less. And I mean, we kind of are in a position right now where you could argue that SmackDown might be, the bigger of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, for Raw is the flagship show.
Right.
But next year, after the end of this year, that will probably change. Right? The face of the company on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes. Your top women in the company, as of right now, are on SmackDown. Bianca Belair and Bayley, Jade Cargill as well. I mean, Rhea's out injured. Becky Lynch is on hiatus, which we could talk about that when we finish up our PLE talk. Which we're pretty much done with the PLE, so we might as well just move on into the other things. So yeah.
Oh man, I lost internet. Poor Dre was probably just talking to himself for a while, having a one-man podcast. Sorry about that.
Yep. So
take over,
I don't know
Dre.
what the last thing y'all heard was, because I was certainly rambling on, but we're just going to pick up with the piece of news that has come out this week that basically Becky Lynch is done with WWE for potentially an extended period of time.
Uh-huh.
As we all know, she lost her match against Liv Morgan this past Monday on Raw, and as the match ended, she just sat in the ring and kind of had a moment to herself, cried a little bit, had a little bit of emotion, and then walked out to the cheers of the fans, and that's it. We know her contract is set to expire. Her contract expires basically tomorrow or Thursday or this weekend. Her contract expires, and she has not signed a new one. She's made that clear. She's not going to sign a new one anytime soon. So we're looking at probably not seeing Becky Lynch for the rest of the year at least. She's going to take some time off, go home, be with the family. Perfectly fitting right now, given that her husband, Seth Rollins, is also out, recovering from injuries. So it works out perfect for them. So just to say to Becky, thank you for all that you've done, entertaining us for all these years. You more than deserved this time away. You more than earned this break. And we look forward to the day that you return, and whatever capacity that will be it with WWE or, not completely ruling out with another company. Because you can almost guarantee when she does decide that she wants to come back, there's going to be a bidding war. Don't think that she's just going to come back and be like, okay, Triple H, I'm ready to come back. Let's talk about a new deal. You can almost be certain that she will, when she decides to come back, she's going to re-enter as a free agent, and she's going to hear all offers. She's going to make WWE earn her presence with their company. They're going to have to open up the piggy banks to get her back.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a foregone conclusion that she returns to WWE, because Tony Khan is not going to just sit idly by and be like, oh, well, I know she's a WWE person. No, he gonna be like, hey, yo, Bex, write your number on the check.
Yeah.
She's gonna.
I don't see her jumping ship. Going to AEW or anything because her and Seth I think are very loyal. I think their money is not for money either because I think they're very well set off money wise. I mean, they're two of the biggest stars in the company. I would assume that financially they're very well set off. I just think it's time for both of them. They've been the workhorses of the company for a while. I think, especially Seth, since the world title came back. I think it's just time to go home, spend some time with the kids, time to be family. The thing is where Seth and Becky are ones that will miss even more the longer they're gone. So they're not losing any credibility or anything when they leave. It's not like when they come back, we're not going to feel much. For example, I don't know, Dre, how excited you were when Sheamus came back. I don't know if you were popping and marking out and
nope.
Did you run to your room to get your Sheamus shirt? Would you stand up on the couch like Doyle and just yell "Fella"? I would assume that's how Doyle celebrated.
Nothing against Sheamus at all. I like him. I like the guy, but no, his return ain't the kind that I'm marked for.
Right. So
granted, they kind of made it seem like a big deal, but they kind of didn't really make it seem like a big deal. But either way, no, he's not the type that I would mark out for.
Okay.
And truth be told, when these two return, presumably and let me make this clear, I don't think for a second that Becky Lynch is going to sign with another company. I would be absolutely shocked if a news story came out like Becky Lynch, or I say it back, wouldn't be Becky Lynch. It'd be Rebecca Quinn signs with AEW. Like, I would be stunned if that happens. So yeah, I agree with you. She's probably going to return. At the same time, though, she would be foolish if she did not parlay AEW's desire to sign her into a larger contract from WWE.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say she's going to hear all offers. If she's smart, she's going to come back as a free agent and play that to her advantage in order to score the contract that she wants, or to score a contract from WWE that's on the Mercedes Moné level, if not bigger. She absolutely has that. She has that card to play. She has that power.
Mm-hmm.
And if WWE wants to play stupid, or take her for granted and just assume, but her husband's here, she's a lifer, she's loyal, she's not going anywhere, we're gonna lowball her because we're WWE, we're family. And Tony's like, I'll give you $20 million a year, girl. Shit. Think she wouldn't be like, hey, we fam, but we ain't $20 million, fam.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I mean in that regards. But I absolutely expect her to return. And when she does, it's going to be a massive pop. It's going to be a huge thing. Will I mark out for it? Probably not, because in my mind, I kind of have an idea in my head of when I see her coming back. As I think most other people probably have an idea in their head where they think they'll probably see them coming back. Probably both of them, honestly. I think with her being out for the rest of the year and Seth Rollins recovering from injury, I think not only will he take the time out to recover from his injury, I wouldn't be surprised if he just took the rest of the year off as well. To just be at home with his wife and let him raise their kid. I don't think we're going to see either one of them for the rest of the year, honestly.
I'd be completely content if I, and this is all within because I want you to heal, because I want you to spend time with your family, because I don't want you taking bumps. I would be completely fine if I didn't see them until the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be completely fine. That'd be a great way to come back. You're not doing a Sheamus return like we saw recently. You're not doing 9 months of returning from injury like Sonya Deville and just appear off the side of the TV screen. You're not making those. You want to make a big pop, then come back at the Rumble. Whether it's number 1 or number 30, I don't give a fuck. I think that burn it down at the Rumble. Are you kidding me? After this guy's been missing for half of the year, all summer he's been gone, all fall he's been gone, Christmas is past, we don't get Seth freaking Rollins, but January comes the Royal Rumble. Same thing with Becky. Like, you know, just hearing the whoa, crowd would fucking pop. And that's what we need. You know, less is more. And I think if there's anybody who's put in the time that deserves the time off, it's them. So, yeah. Is that, what else you got anything else you want to bring to the table before we wrap this bitch up?
I think it does deserve talking about because, you know, we don't, it's not too often that we bring up NXT on this show, but this past week's NXT is one that was worth talking about. Not because Sexy Red was there, because, I mean, again, I'm not going to completely dunk on Sexy Red. I mean, her music is not my cup of tea. I'm 42 fucking years old. I'm grown. I ain't, this new shit, it ain't me. It ain't my cup of tea. The little bit I have heard from her, she ain't that good of a rapper, period. But she's for the young people. And, you know, for WWE, from their marketing and perspective, it works for them. She resonates with the young people like her. So
yeah, she's only 26.
It's for them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's smart to bring someone of her caliber on NXT, which is the young, I won't say it's the young people's brand, but it's where their younger stars are at. It's where their next generation is at. So you bring in, you know, a celebrity that connects with your next generation of fans to see your next generation of stars. So in that sense, in that regard, it makes sense for it to for them to have done that. You know, connect that, make that connection with your younger audience. Let them see your younger again, like I said, your next generation of stars. Let them start to form that connection with them, start to follow them, and then, you know, they can begin that journey with those stars from NXT eventually up to the main roster or so on and so forth. So in that regard, I get it. It makes sense. You know, it definitely had the internet talking. Our videos were definitely viewed by plenty of people. So, you know, it worked. It just ain't for me because I'm fucking old. But the things that happened on NXT that were worth talking about, in my opinion, is one, at the next PLE NXT Battleground happening in Vegas at the UFC little venue in Vegas, we're going to have Roxanne Perez defending the NXT Women's Championship against Jordynne Grace from TNA. TNA Knockouts champion. Coming into WWE, the, for lack of a better term, forbidden door being opened up by WWE in a way that we have not seen before. It's one thing that when they bring in, you know, outside people in for the Rumble, we know those people aren't going to win. And, you know, they come in for a moment, you know, have their few moments in the ring, and then that's it. It's another thing to bring somebody in to challenge for one of your titles. Now, admittedly, what are the odds of Jordynne Grace winning? It's probably slim to none. But it's still, this is the beginning of something. We're probably, good chance we may see more crossover happen or more collaborations happen between WWE and TNA. And I think this will be far more it could potentially be far more beneficial than the type of collaboration that we've seen happen between AEW and New Japan. Which, granted, you know, those have been nice, those have been cool, but I don't know that either company's really benefiting that much from it. I mean, maybe some New Japan stars are getting some exposure here in the States and being, you know, seen by American eyes that they wouldn't normally see, but I don't know this because I admittedly don't follow that enough to say, but I don't know if that has brought more eyes to New Japan's product. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I don't know. But, and admittedly, I don't know if this thing with, you know, this newfound collaboration between WWE and TNA, is it going to potentially draw more eyes to TNA product? Who knows? But at the very least, I think it will potentially make some certain stars in TNA, it'll help raise their profile, if nothing else. Even if it may not necessarily raise the profile of the entire product. but that's still TBD. But nevertheless, I'm here for this, and this is dope. And I like seeing this from WWE, this a cross-promotional collaboration like this. And I hope to see it more often.
Yeah, I agree. This is something I've been wanting to see for years, and we're seeing more and more of it. I hope maybe eventually they send a WWE superstar over there. Maybe it would get eyes on Impact Wrestling. I love that idea, and having another champion on our show, like, guess what? I'm going to tune in because I'm fucking interested. I'm intrigued. And this is, I'm somebody who used to watch NXT all the time, and I just stopped because it was just, I'm sorry, when Shawn Michaels took over, it just wasn't the same as when Triple H had it. And it's just, it is what it is. But this has me intrigued, and I'm going to tune in. As for Sexy Red, no idea who that was. No idea. That's how, and you know what? She's 26. We're like, a lot older, so of course we don't fucking know who that is. Of course, kids. Of course we don't fucking know. She has songs like Looking for the Hose, Pound Town, Hood Rats, Hellcats and SRTs, and a song called Ski. So, I've never heard of any of these songs. Definitely not been in my...
They're not good.
Playlist.
And again,
for the
they're
gym.
not for us.
They're not for us. Exactly, they're not for us. But hey, if it brings more eyes to the product, I'm all fucking for it. Because these people have a fan base that they're bringing with. She has over 4 million followers. I sometimes give a shit less about social media followers, but for that company, that's good for them. Bringing more eyes over, even if it's just for her. Like, I just want to watch her wrestle. Still getting eyes on the product. Still getting somebody to watch it on Peacock, or still getting somebody to tune in on, NXT when she's on. Get those numbers up. So, cool, man.
Exactly, and that's what it's for. It's for the young people. Like I said, I don't know. Clearly, she got a pop when she came out. So obviously, the crowd that was in attendance knew who she was. It ain't like she came out and they treated her like a nobody. It's like, oh hey, whoever this person is. No, they were into her. So yep. She, like you said, she has a following, and she bringing her following to the WWE. WWE's bringing their following to her. It's a win-win for them. It ain't got to be for everybody. Everything ain't meant to be for everybody.
Yeah.
But for what they got what they needed from each other, I will say. And like I said, it's smart on their end in the sense that they did it with NXT. Had they tried to bring her on Raw or SmackDown, I don't think it would have worked as well. But NXT, you younger stars, your next generation, there it works out perfectly. Now, the other thing that happened on NXT is, for a while now, they've been having this storyline going between Trick Williams being accused of attacking certain stars on the roster, where he's as the NXT champion has stood accused of having attacked the stars. Their names escape me off the top of my head. That's why I'm, beating around it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of this week's episode, we found out who the attacker was, as that person who had been attacking those stars came out and attacked Trick Williams himself, laid Trick Williams out. And that person was All Ego Ethan Page, formerly of AEW.
Okay. Is he okay, so I'm kind of in the dark here. Is he a AEW product? Like, was he like something that was created, like somebody who was created, like Jade was created in AEW?
I don't know that he was created by AEW. I think he's wrestled in other promotions outside of AEW before then, but he's been seen as one of those underutilized stars in AEW. Right. He's seen by many, from what I've gathered from, talk I've seen online, he's one of those guys that has a whole lot going for him. He has a lot of talent, a lot of charisma, can absolutely go in the ring, this, that, and the third. And just AEW just hasn't utilized him that well.
Right.
So apparently his contract expired, and he's now shown up in NXT completely to everybody's surprise. And that was the main thing about it is, like I said, I watched this week's episode of NXT. When he came out, there was a reaction. It wasn't one of those things where they came out and he's hit the guy and, he started attacking Trick Williams and everybody was just like, no, there was a reaction. Like you saw people, even looking at the crowd, you could see people like mouths, jaws drop, eyes open, people, pointing like, oh shit. Like there was a reaction. Like even, it was kind of funny. Like even the NXT announcers, said that, when the guy revealed himself, like, I'm the one who's been attacking me. You've heard the announcer say, that's Ethan Page. Wasn't he in AE? Like they almost said AEW on air.
Oh, nice.
Like it's actually worth watching and hearing them say okay. Wasn't he in AE? And then Booker T cuts off, whoa. Like say, hey, don't say that company. But he said 2 of the 3 letters.
Yeah.
He absolutely said 2 of the 3 letters. Like, wasn't he in AE? Like, so they alluded to it without actually saying it. And that's pretty clever on their end.
Maybe he
meant acknowledging the other company without really acknowledging the other company.
Maybe he was in adult entertainment.
No. They know what we're talking about. They knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly, like I said, it was really clever of them doing, alluding to AEW without exclusively saying
I like
AEW.
that. I like that. That's cool.
Like I said, it was smart in a sense that one, it even if you don't know exactly who Ethan Page is, just mentioning the number 2 company or alluding to them kind of gives credibility to that person, because this isn't some guy who just, came up from the indies out of nowhere, or some guy y'all just snatched up from some unknown company. Mm-hmm. Like, no, this is a guy that we've gotten from that company, and he's now here. Just that alone gives, like I said, gives magnitude, gives weight to this person, even if you don't already know who he is. But judging by that crowd's reaction, they knew who the fuck he was.
That's funny.
We'll see what they do from here. But for that moment itself, it worked. It definitely got people talking. And like I said, the internet, the IWC was lit up at, like I said, Ethan Page debuting in NXT and Jordan Grace showing up to challenge Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. So NXT was cooking this week. It was a good show. And I mean, even everything else that happened outside of that, they still, there's still not random, but there's still standard slate of just good matches. And this, that, and the third continuing on. So I don't know what all is happening at Battleground, but just what I've seen this week alone is enough for me to say that, I'm going to probably tune into that PLE when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm pretty sure that's what WWE wants. Again, like you said, like it may not be the thing for you. You might not be feeling the current product under Shawn Michaels' reign as you were under Triple H, which, I mean, I won't say I get it because I didn't watch NXT when Triple H was in charge, but I think what Shawn Michaels is doing down there is good. I actually think he's doing really good work down there. I don't watch it consistently week in and week out, but every now and then something happens that pops up on my radar that does draw my attention to the product. And when I do tune in and see what's going on down there, it's been good. It's been good stuff. Like last year when Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov were having their rivalry, they had their trilogy of matches. Those were great matches. Excellent stuff. Even Obafemi, when he popped up on my radar recently as becoming the NXT North American champion, he's somebody, I think I said it on this show, he's somebody to keep your eye on. He gonna be something. Just from what I've seen a little bit of him, he's got the it factor. He's definitely somebody to watch, somebody to keep tabs on. This crossover collaboration between TNA and NXT. Again, definitely got people talking. Definitely something to keep your eyes on. You know, Jordynne Grace made a big splash at the Rumble this year, so she's not coming in as just a complete unknown to the WWE audience. And she, if it wasn't for the fact that she is in TNA, you'd probably say that she's overwhelmingly stands more than likely going to win against someone like Roxanne Perez. But obviously she's coming from the outside company, so chances are she's probably not. But what if she does?
The big what if factor, you know?
What if she does? What if WWE is that bold to have Jordynne Grace win the NXT Women's Championship and take it back to TNA? What if this is just the start of some extended collaboration or some extended storytelling, crossover storytelling between NXT and TNA? Maybe what if this isn't just a one-off thing? This could make for something really captivating, depending on how big or how bold they're willing to be with it.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just a one-off, like, hey, bring your person in, they'll wrestle a match, yada, yada. We'll send somebody down y'all's way and let them, so from NXT down y'all way and let them have a match. Maybe that's all there is to it. But maybe there's more. That's to be determined. But that enough is plenty to get me interested and get me watching. Because I want to see where this goes. Mm-hmm. That's all I have to say about this week's NXT.
Cool, man. Do you have anything you want to plug before we go?
Nothing else that I really want to plug or anything. Like I said, just as always, you can always find me in the Discord, an Outlaw Star, and like I said, sharing my thoughts and everything week to week. Nothing else. Other than that, I just want to give rest in peace to one of my closest friends, my brother Thomas. He was one of my fraternity brothers, also one of my closest friends, and he and I bonded years ago over our mutual love of wrestling. He was a big wrestling fan, just like I was, especially back in the Attitude Era days. Like, so that was our thing that we used to always talk about all the time, and especially in the frat house, like, we used to settle arguments with like wrestling matches, not like real life physical wrestling matches, but like this was back in the day where like SmackDown was on the PlayStation. So if we were having an argument or something that we couldn't decide on, he'd be the one to just chime in and be like, bring that shit to SmackDown then. And sure enough, all right, turn on the PlayStation. We putting on SmackDown, grab your sticks, and we're going to have a match. And whoever wins, that's going to be how we settle this debate. And you could tell by how serious the debate was or the issue was by what wrestlers we picked. Because if he grabbed Stone Cold Steve Austin and I grabbed The Rock, it was real. We was debating about some serious shit.
Oh, man. That's how we dealt with our squabbles.
Over the years, we always stayed in touch and, talked about wrestling, kept up on the thing. Even after I fell off with the product, he would still pop up every now and then, hit me up, and we talk about, what was happening. And even if I wasn't following it, I still hear what he had to say, loosely chime in with some thoughts. Like if I was somewhat, he knew if it was something that I was actually legitimately interested in. Like he wasn't talking to me about, hey man, the Nexus is challenging John Cena. I didn't give a fuck about that. But when The Rock was challenging John Cena, oh yeah, we talked about that because he knew The Rock was my guy.
Yeah.
So, he knew the things I wasn't. Like even non-wrestling stuff, like when Kobe Bryant passed away a few years ago, as soon as that news broke, he was the first one that called me about it because he knew I was a huge Lakers fan, and he knew that Kobe was my guy. He immediately called me about that. And even as we I got back into wrestling, I wanted to get him on the show at one point about it, but unfortunately that's sadly never going to happen. But, we used to talk about everything that was happening with the current product as I got back into it. Right. Even the last debate that he and I had was over who had the better entrance theme between Jimmy and Jey Uso. For some reason he felt like Jimmy Uso had a better entrance theme than Jey Uso, and I was like, "You tripping?"
No.
He was like, no. He was like, "No, Jey just has the crowd. He just has all the hype. But the actual song, which one is better?" He said Jimmy had the better song. But that was the last debate that we had. But yeah, like I said, my brother Thomas, I'm gonna miss you, man. Rest in heaven, man.
Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, man. If anybody wants to find me, you can find me on Twitter at SemiDryChicken. I have the link with our podcast every time I drop an episode. It takes you right to our website where if you want to drop a question in, you want it read on the show for us, a topic you want us to talk about. If you want to be a guest on the show, it'll take you to the store even. It'll take you to our Discord. It takes you to all the social media networks. It's fucking everything. So, yeah. We'll come back next time for the preview of the Clash of the Castle. Yep. And hopefully we find Doyle and Carlos. So, alrighty then. Well, with that said, let's dip the hell out of here.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Bye-bye, bitch.
Tonight, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it's no longer about how far you've come, but how high you will ascend. This is King and Queen of the Ring.
Valkyria versus Jax for the Queen of the Ring.
Now I question if I'm good enough. Every time I piss off, it's so dumb.
Nia's the Queen of the Ring. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Stick with the plan. Becky Lynch defends the Women's World Championship against Liv Morgan. What is this damn fool doing here? DDT on the chair! Liv Morgan's the champion! Orton versus Gunther for King of the Ring. Gunther, King of the Ring! Cody Rhodes defends his undisputed WWE Championship against Logan Paul.
You are the world's dumbest son of a bitch.
The fact that day in and day out, for almost 6 years, I have proved to everybody in the world that I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even at commentary. Nobody can touch me.
You are not ready for Oscar!
Because the Street Profits are up, and we want the smoke.
You're next! Talk about your songs, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass. Well, let me tell you something, brother. New Day!
Cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Madness here.
Welcome to the Kevin Owens Show. Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy. Because I'm the Miz, and I'm awesome.
Those rotten bastards.
Bye-bye, bitch.